Hey everybody, Kyle Goth here from GoatFilmReviews.com and the Goat Film Reviews YouTube channel, and I've got my first thoughts on the new film Aquaman, whatever the subtitle was, The Lost Kingdom, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. That's not a great start to a review. That's about a movie that kind of feels wash, rinse, repeat, and paint by numbers, but here we go. So Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is the final film in the DCEU. It is an absolute mess of a movie. A lot of it's quite forgettable. I'm going to talk about the things that I liked first because there are not a ton. I did enjoy it. Like, I had fun with the experience of watching it, but at the same time, it was very incoherent. I think the strengths of the film, I do think Jason Momoa does another fantastic job as the character that he's meant to play here. He's not Oscar worthy by any stretch of the imagination, nor does he need to be as Aquaman. He needs to be a fun, enigmatic leader who doesn't really want to lead. So I think that's what he's got here. Sorry, my cat just almost tumbled off the table. Hey, buddy. So his chemistry with Patrick Wilson is quite good. Patrick Wilson, I think, does, again, the best he can do with what he's given here in the film. Sorry, I'm going to adjust this slightly because he's never going to leave me alone. Hi, Goku. How you doing, buddy? They have good chemistry together as brothers. It's kind of funny to see them sharing any time as brothers because I just don't know that I buy, like, the brotherness of it all. But I think they have fun, and I think they're fun to watch in the film. There's a couple of action scenes that I think are interesting, enjoyable to an extent, but more than anything, this film is just an absolute mess of narrative choices that are kind of confusing. And the thing is, the entire time I kept thinking to myself, yeah, there was definitely some meddling going on. There was definitely some changes that were made to this film. I think it was, I mean, how long ago was this thing shot? Was it shot during COVID or pre-COVID? I can't even remember anymore. But suffice it to say, Arthur is now married to Mera. They have a kid together. You can tell, though, that like scenes were cut with Amber Heard's character in the film to minimize her appearances in the movie. Which the thing is, it becomes really noticeable when it happens. I don't care much for Amber Heard as a person or Johnny Depp, but as performers, I think she's a good performer when she cares. I don't think she cares in this movie, and I think that's noticeable. And I think it's also one of the reasons why she might have been trimmed down a bit too. But she has scenes in the movie that make us feel like she probably had more scenes in the film that were chopped down. There's an odd thing for somebody who, during a trial, had discussions about defecating in someone's bed. Manipulating her child's urine to hit her husband in a movie. It's kind of that thing like when Barry Allen stole beer in the Flash movie, where it was like, it's a weird connotation that just brings you out of the movie a lot because of the real world connections. Black Manta as a villain is pretty interesting. I like that Black Manta has more to do and that he's a fully developed villain by the end of the first film, so that when he comes in this way, we can kind of see the tragedy of what's unfolding for him, because even though he is not a good person, he has clearly unlocked something that is too powerful for himself. I felt like the villain machinations behind his arc in the film do kind of feel a bit mustache twirly at times. So again, this is just a movie that I think doesn't have a lot going for it outside of the enjoyment factor, which feels like a step down from the original Aquaman, even though I think there's some good stuff in here. I think if you like the original movie, I think there's enough here to probably recommend. But for me, it was just kind of an okay experience because I didn't really feel the forward momentum. And I love James Wan as a director, but I feel like this movie might have been, partly a mess of maybe he shouldn't have been doing it, partly an unfinished script issue, and some maybe studio interference. It's just, this movie is not the way, it doesn't feel like it was made with loving care by a filmmaker without any problems. It feels like this movie was riddled with problems. And suffice it to say, it was just, not a great ending to the DC run. But at least it's over. At least the mercy of the DCU is at an end. The hit and miss nature, especially in recent years, well, and at the beginning too, hopefully will lead to greener pastures when we see Superman Legacy next year. So until that time, we have Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, a film that I think is not the worst of the DC releases for 2023, but also not the best. I'd probably put it underneath Blue Beetle and The Flash in terms of my own thoughts, but definitely better than Shazam! Fury of the Gods. So let me know your thoughts on Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom down in the comments section. While you're down there, please like and subscribe. There are 2 free things you can do that help support the channel immensely, and you never miss new episodes of the show as they drop. You can also find GoatFilmReviews.com for my many written reviews. You can find Goat Film Reviews on Facebook. You can follow me personally at Almighty Goatman on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, and Threads. And you can find my show, Kyle and Nick on Film, that I co-host with Nick Plachek from the St. Paul Filmcast. We have new episodes every single week of that show. You can go ahead and find all those links down in the description. Make sure to let me know your favorite film in the DCU, or maybe rank them. There's not a ton of them, so you could... There's more than I remember there being, but there's not a ton of them. So you could rank them down below, or tell me your favorite and maybe your least favorite as well. And what are you looking forward to most with the reset next year? Thank you guys for joining me, and we'll see you next time.